Good day and welcome to Abia Update. I am Onyechiobi, bringing you verified stories of progress, accountability, and transformation in Abia, God's own state. We start from Government House, Umuahia, where the Abia State Governor, Dr. Alex Otti, has signed in to use the Abia Mini-Grid Regulation Framework, a document aimed at opening and unleashing private sector-driven investment in the Abia State electricity generation and distribution to the unserved and underserved communities across the state. Signing the memorandum of understanding at the banquet hall of the Government House, Umuahia, Governor Otti said the event is the climax of several months of planning, stakeholder engagement, confidence building, ideation, and reviews of policy experts, investors, and energy consumers. Acting on the governor's function, Abia State Governor Dr. Alex Otti has charged the 1,000 graduates of the Abia Leadership Academy to remain role models and good ambassadors of the academy and the state. The Governor Otti gave the charge at the combined graduation ceremony of cohorts 3 and 4 of the Abia Leadership Academy training held at the Government College, Umuahia, while challenging the 1,000 young people who benefited from the leadership training to provide solutions to challenges where they find themselves. The state has spotlighted daughters of excellence who are putting Abia on the global map, including 4 Super Falcons players, Obonna Gloria Akombo, Uchibe Christie, Uchenna Kano, and Esther Okoronkwo. They were honored by the governor, Dr. Alex Otti, after Abia produced the highest number of players in the national squad. Also celebrated is Grace John, the Abia Star Girl, selected for the US State Department's TechGirls Program, who received $5,000 support from the governor. And moving on, the Abia State government has inaugurated a 23-member committee to oversee the second edition of the Abia International Trade Fair, with Deputy Governor Engineer Ikechukwu Emeto as the chairman of the committee. The inauguration, which was held at the Deputy Governor's office in Umuahia, marks a strategic push to expand the trade fair scale, inclusivity, and economic impact. Speaking immediately after the inauguration, the chairman of the committee, Engineer Emeto, urged members to adopt innovation, transparency, and grassroots mobilization, stressing that all financial transactions will be centrally managed by the Ministry of Trade and Commerce for accountability. A landmark fundraising dinner for the first Abia Para Badminton International and All-African Para Badminton Championship has been held successfully in Umuahia, with Deputy Governor Engineer Ikechukwu Emeto describing it as a defining moment in Abia's history. Engineer Emeto applauded Governor Otti's inclusive sports policies and highlighted economic benefits in tourism, hospitality, and youth empowerment. The Abia First Lady, Mrs. Priscilla Chidima Otti, has personally distributed cash support to petty traders in Afo Ibeji in Umuahia South and Ekata Isialangwa South markets to mark this year's International Day of Charity. Making the distribution at the various centers, Mrs. Otti emphasized supporting the lifeblood of our markets, small-scale women traders, urging judicious use of funds for reinvestment and savings. She commended Governor Otti's 1 billion naira nano grant scheme and reaffirmed her office's commitment to uplifting vulnerable groups and promoting inclusive growth. And moving on to the civil service, the Abia State Civil Service Commission has dismissed 6 staff of the Ministry of Justice following their conviction in a salary padding scheme uncovered during an internal audit. The officers, including senior accountants and executive officers, were found guilty of manipulating payroll systems and receiving excess salaries over time. The dismissal letter signed by Commission Chairman Pastor Eno Jerry Eze confirms the officers will be handed over to law enforcement for prosecution. However, Mrs. Choma Favor Madu was cleared after proving she reported overpayment and took corrective actions. The Abia State government is prioritizing citizen-driven budgeting through the 2026 Budget Citizens Engagement Forum held at the Awironsi Conference Center, Umuahia. The Commissioner of Budget and Planning, Mr. Kingsley Anosike, emphasized that the budget must reflect the needs of the people, not the elite, stating that if the citizens need royal roads, not railways, then that is where we must invest. Stakeholders from traditional institutions, youth, people with disabilities, disabilities, and civil societies were included to ensure inclusivity. A two-day media tour of ongoing school rehabilitation projects concluded with journalists inspecting 63 schools across all 17 local government areas in the state. The Commissioner for Education, Elder Goodluck Ubochi, appreciated the press for their independent verification, calling it a hallmark of the administration's transparency. The retrofitting initiative is part of a larger plan for 221 schools, uses direct labor for quality control. Most of the projects are on track for completion before September 22nd academic resumption. A collaboration with the Power Ministry will ensure electricity in schools while security upgrades are underway. The government reaffirms education as central to the development agenda. And in a sweeping education reform, the Abia State government has made the SS2 promotion exam mandatory for admissions into SS3, applicable to all public and private schools. Commissioner of Education Elder Goodluck Ubochi stated that this move is aimed to curb academic malpractices and prevent students from switching schools to register for WAEC, NECO, and JAM. Other reforms include graduation ceremonies being limited to terminal classes, that is primary 6 and SS3, and textbooks separated from workbooks for reuse and cost reduction. Schools must be issued first school leaving certificates at no cost more than 2,000. Basic education certificates required for external exam registration. The policies developed after stakeholders consultations aim to reduce financial burden on parents and uphold academic integrity. The Abia State government has completed 140 primary health centers under Project Ekweme, with many awaiting functionalization. The Commissioner of Information, Prince Oke Kano, confirmed that reconstruction is ongoing in general hospitals, with 2 cottage hospitals in Abia and Umuhe ready for commissioning. Plans are also underway to establish 2 new disease isolation centers, one at Abia Infectious Disease Hospital and another at Uzako Leprosy Center. The Amateur Specialist Hospital remains the state's flagship isolation facility. Prince Oke Kano assured that there are no confirmed cases of public health concerns in the state, with all health projects targeted for completion by November 2025. And finally, the Abia State Civil Service Commission has announced that interviews for health officers will hold from September 12 to 23rd, 2025. Candidates are advised to check their emails and SMS for details. They must appear with original credentials, government issue ID, and nurses in their uniform. This follows the recently concluded computer-based test and marks the next phase in the transparent recruitment process. And that is it for the Abia update today. I am Onyechi Obi. Thanks for joining me.